Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Chasing Cats. My name is Scott Brown. Welcome to my vlog, guaranteed to help you become the leader you always wish you had worked for. Now, I talk a lot about the concept of games and game theory, but tonight I want to take it in a slightly different direction, not about the game, but about the playing of the game. Play is an incredibly important concept when it comes to understanding games and why games are so important. Let me give you a couple of examples. Have you ever watched children play? Or do you remember when you used to play? Maybe you have children now and you're fascinated by the structure of how they play in groups, by themselves, with their siblings, with classmates. And maybe you remember back to when you were little, to how you used to play with groups or with your classmates or with your siblings, and you remember how important play was. And before you get to a game, where a game largely is that formalized, structured event, those formal games are things that we create as humans to give some sort of meaning to our play. Before we ever get to that, we just play. And play is a very important developmental part of who we are as individuals, of how we learn to express ourselves. Without play, we would never learn to use communication to express our concerns, to express our frustrations, to express our happiness. We wouldn't learn to communicate that verbally. We would always act out upon our deepest desires and wouldn't necessarily build relationships. Play helps bond individuals together. It helps us as people, as individuals, find our creativity, find our imagination. It helps us exist within a world of gray instead of demanding a world that's black and white, where everything is structured and formatted. Play gives us that opportunity to identify who we want to become and allows us to evolve in a way that allows us to find our unique voice. As we get older, though, we confuse play with games. We think that the game itself is so much more important than the process of play. As we go through our professional development, we still need opportunities to play, to experiment, to be creative, to find different ways to interact with individuals. We need ways to practice, to fail forward, to find some sort of a safe environment where we can play, role model what it is we're trying to become, and learn how to do that in a great way. It's not about the game. It's about the act of playing. And as adults, we always forget that playing is how we became who we are. We look back on our lives and think, well, there were just people that were around us that helped influence us. And you forget that the reason they were around us is because of how we played. It's because of how we embrace them, how we learn to trust individuals and to accept trust from individuals. It helped us build our tribes. Now, I know to this day, I am still friends with my best friend from when I was a kid. Alex Smith and I became friends when we were 4 years old, playing at Mrs. Rust's house, fighting over a Barbie doll at all of 4 years old. That evolved into a friendship where there was wiffle ball and there was tag and there was just hanging out, there was coloring. He taught me math. There was so much of life that was created by that relationship that we had with each other that was only possible because of play. As we get older, we forget the necessity that building relationships isn't defined by the rules, but it's defined by how we interact. So even as you're trying to learn something, as you're growing in your professional development, find time to play. Don't get so stuck into a game where you forget the necessity of identifying who you are and becoming a better version of who you want to be. You're never going to succeed the first time out. You're always going to need work. We are a constantly evolving work in progress. And one of the great ways that we do that is through play. It can seem silly as adults to think about play, but I think it's even sillier to think about life without play. Because without play, we never learn to expand ourselves into what possibly could be, as opposed to settling for what is. So game theory, while it's important to remember formal and informal games, it's also very important to understand how the process of play and players develops those games and the meaning behind those games. So until tomorrow, take an opportunity over the next few days to play. Play within a process that helps you become better, that helps you challenge yourself, and that helps you grow. There are organizations out there that do nothing but focus on those aspects of life. Toastmasters, Rotary, great organizations to help you play and provide you a safe space to fail forward in the pursuit of growth. May you never forget the wonders of play and the pleasures of figuring out who you're supposed to be. Until tomorrow, I wish you the best, and have a good day playing tomorrow. And if your boss catches you, tell them it was just for development. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.